Heather, I had this moment the other day where I realized something slightly tragic about adulthood.
Uh-oh, Leah. That sounds like a confession.
Well, it is sort of. I realized that somewhere between raising my kids, running my house, paying all the bills, and trying to be a responsible mother and human, I completely forgot how to play and have fun in my life.
Leah, that's real. And I hear that from so many women. I mean, when you're a kid, fun is automatic. But when you become a mom and an adult, fun seems to become scheduled. And sometimes fun just disappears.
Exactly. And suddenly you're in midlife and someone says, "What do you do for fun?" And your brain just kind of goes blank. I've been asked that question and I didn't know what to say. Like, what do I do for fun? Wow. I don't know.
Well, and the running joke in our family is, Mom, you're great at getting stains out. Like they think that's my playtime in the
So that's
laundry room.
fun,
Yes, they think that
right?
that's the big joke. Are you bored, Mom? You want to help me get some stains out?
So, exactly. Today we're talking about something that sounds simple, but it's actually really profound, and it's rediscovering fun and playfulness in midlife. Welcome to Letting Go Loudly, the podcast you never knew you needed. We're your hosts, Leah Lanham and Heather Hetchler, two midlife women, two certified coaches, and two friends who finally got tired of living by the rules we never agreed to. Around here, quiet compliance is officially canceled. We're letting go loudly and taking you with us. Now back to our show.
So, Leah, let's start with some honest truth. I mean, somewhere along the way, many of us were taught or learned or somehow picked up on it that being responsible meant being serious.
Right. And fun became something that was, well, pretty much optional or maybe even a little selfish.
But I think here's the reality of it: playfulness is not childish, it's actually essential for joy, creativity, and emotional health. I mean, playfulness is good for our soul.
You're right. And in midlife, when our roles start to shift with our kids going, our careers are changing. Suddenly we have a little bit of space again. But sometimes we don't even know what to do with our space. Where do we go? What are we interested in? We haven't nurtured anything along the way. So, gosh, is it time to start something new? Look for something different or go back to what we liked before? That's a big question there.
Yeah, and sometimes all three of those. Or even
It
like,
could be.
I think we've talked about this, and I know I've heard from clients when I've asked that question, what do you do for fun? And sometimes I just get a blank stare. And then there's tears because they're
Yeah.
like, I don't even know what I like to do anymore.
Yeah, like you feel lost a little bit in your own creativity
Yes,
because you don't really have any ideas of what you want to do.
and sometimes in midlife too. And my husband jokes, he says that empty nesting is dating with money, because the kids are gone and it's just you. But sometimes you look at each other and you're like, what do you want to do? And sometimes it's just creating fun out of the everyday.
Yeah,
Like it can be doing stuff at home, it can be going somewhere, going out, but it doesn't have to be anything expensive.
that's
It can just
true.
be doing something. So I was just wondering too what you think, like why women lose their playfulness in adulthood. You talked a little bit about that, but any more insights?
Well, I feel like we just get into such routines with our kids and we're doing all the time and we're not really thinking about ourselves. We're not thinking about, wow, I'd really like to, you know, do some painting or we're just not thinking of ourselves. I think we spend so much time worrying about everybody else that we're not thinking on those lines. And then when everyone's gone, when the kids are starting to move out and you're looking at your husband across the dinner table and you're thinking, "Oh my gosh, like is this is this it? Is this what we've come to? Like we have no kids around and we're staring at each other. Are we going to go watch a show again tonight or are we going to, there's things you could do. Like you could pick up pickleball or,
Do some
do
different
something
things.
fun,
Yeah.
right? Do something fun. So, yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. Do you have any like things that you like to do now that your kids are gone?
Well, I was thinking about this topic as we were preparing for the podcast, and I think, when I was a young mom, I truly had fun with my kids. Like it was fun to get on the floor and
Yeah.
play with them and take them and go swimming and do all this stuff. And so their fun kind of became my fun.
Yeah.
And I did always love date night and protected that. And then when they're gone, there is a big void because the things that you did that you really did enjoy that were fun
Right.
are, and so it's kind of learning. But I think too, when we talked about, I do think for me personally, and I think for a lot of women, I felt like, well, to be responsible, you did have to be more serious. And I think even looking back, not to be, not to genderfy this, but I think sometimes like the dads typically tend to be the more fun parent sometimes, and the
Yeah.
moms are the more like,
Stern and
well,
get
getting
your
getting
homework
it
done.
organized. Yeah, the scheduler, right? Getting
Right.
everything done.
Yeah.
And so, that's kind of our role. Like if we don't keep it together, the house doesn't run. And
Right.
so we almost learn to kind of push down that playfulness because we got to, we got,
Get busy.
yeah, meals to
Right.
make, grocery
Yeah.
shopping, all the things.
Yeah. I agree.
And so I think, and I think there is a pressure to be productive, but I think, flipping this on its side and looking at playfulness as productive is an
Right.
important reframe. And if you look at playfulness as being productive, even being productive in your marriage, like when you play together and you laugh together, you bond with each other.
Oh, absolutely. And I think a lot of women that are our
Yeah.
age, we lose that playfulness in maybe, even like in the bedroom, or I hate to say that, but it's true. We lose that playfulness. And sometimes that's the cause for demise, really, in communicating with your spouse,
Hmm.
because you're not on those levels anymore where you're enjoying like your children together and playing, or maybe you're out playing frisbee with your kids or whatever it is. You lose that, and then when it comes to just you and your spouse, you're like, oh, well, what are we going to do for fun?
Yeah.
What is it about? So I think it's really important to try some new hobbies in your midlife. Try to maybe make some new friends who have different interests than you. Like I have a girlfriend that is always asking my husband and I to play euchre.
Hmm.
Okay, so she asks me every time she has a euchre party, maybe once or twice a quarter, and she always asks, and I always say, I play euchre, but Chris doesn't like euchre. She's like, oh, come on. Can't he like euchre? Can't he play? I said, he knows how to play, but he likes to renege all the time. So do you want him on your team? And she's like, oh, well, can't you come? So it's one of those things where you need to do something together.
Together.
So euchre's probably not the one for us.
Yeah, because you do kind of have to meet in the middle.
Right.
And both of you might even, if there's things that you like that you like that he doesn't like, maybe he does something that you like and just tries it, and then
Yeah.
you try something that he
Yeah.
likes. And that's some advice too that I give to couples, whether they're like doing really well or not, is do shoulder to shoulder activities, right?
Hmm.
So shoulder to shoulder activities where you're doing things, walking, biking, cooking, and that's playfulness,
I
right? And so
love
that
that.
kind of
Yeah.
goes together because
Yeah.
if couples are having a difficult time communicating or they're just stuck in a rut, doing things together opens it up because
Yeah.
you start doing things, going for a walk, dancing, going for a bike ride.
I love that
It
shoulder to shoulder
it makes you
things.
start to laugh.
Yeah.
It makes things like, I love, I've tried. My husband is an outdoorsman, and so in the beginning, I was like, I love camping because I loved him, and then I started camping, and I'm like,
I
I
love
don't really
camping.
love this, but he loved it so much that I actually started to love it because of the joy he had,
And you
and
could
I
catch
do love it,
him like
and I
in
just
his
said,
element.
yes, I'm like my only two. I want to have coffee in the morning. And I want to, if we're going to be camping a lot with the kids, I want a trailer with a bathroom. Those are my two requirements. And
Yeah,
so we got that.
that's perfect.
But we go four-wheeling, and I actually like getting on the back of the four-wheeler and going through the mud. Would it be something I would have picked? No.
Right.
And now he loves going, like, I think he loves, or he acts like he loves going to art museums. Like, I love art museums. I love going to musicals. I
Yeah.
was smart enough to take him
No, that's a
to
good one too.
Hamilton
Yeah.
because I'm like, oh, and now he's like, is this what all musicals are like? I love it. And he's
The
like,
perfect one to
yes,
start with.
yeah, he plays the soundtrack, but just finding things that both of you can enjoy
I
and
love
putting
that.
yourself out there, even if you don't like, if he wants to go maybe shoot golf balls, I don't know if that's even the right language, and you're like, I have
Oh
no
yeah.
desire, you maybe just go do it.
I
And
I had to do that last summer.
yeah,
It's one of those things. He's like, "Oh, let's go over
yeah,
to Trine and do some golf balls." I'm like, "Okay."
yeah, because he's inviting you
And I
to, and there's
actually,
something,
yeah. And I
yes,
was like, "I'll do it."
yeah,
Now what do I do? And he like took great pleasure in showing me how to do it. And I whack some balls. I'll let you know. He was like, "Wow."
I
So
love
that was
that.
even more fun because then I was okay with it, like, all right, I'm not so bad at this. It's something new. And it was fun. It was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
And
And
I
just
really
sharing
enjoyed it.
ideas out,
Yeah.
it's just, and just making, my husband actually is really good at finding the fun in life. He's way better than me. Like I
Yeah.
like to play, but I still have a more, I think, serious side.
Yeah,
And he can be super serious at work, but like one thing we do, and I might have mentioned on the podcast before,
I
but
know what you're gonna
we
say.
when we go to like CVS to get our
Oh
prescriptions, we
yeah.
get the like toilet paper receipt, and then we stay and see how many items we can get for like zero
For
almost.
free.
Yeah. And
Oh
so
yeah.
he'll be like, Heather, we got a $6 coupon on this one, a $4. You split up. We go here, we go here. But it's so ridiculous that we're laughing. And
Yeah,
we'll end
I
up
love
buying
that.
stuff that we don't even really need, but he just his goal is to like pay like 18
Zero.
cents. Yes, he
Zero.
is like he is odd. But you know what? It's just funny.
That is funny. And I know you said
I
before,
know.
like you go to the happy hours and see
Yeah.
how much you can
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah,
pay.
yes. We'll go to like a happy hour and see what we can get for 20
Right. I
bucks, and
love that.
and it's just a fun way to try different things,
Yeah.
and then it's a bond. Like he'll bring, like the other day he was like, remember that one restaurant we got this and this and this, and we were trying to remember which one it was. And so it just, when you play, you create memories,
Yeah.
and when you have memories, you have a bond.
I like that. Yeah. And it is a give and take, like you said. You have to do, something that he likes, something that you like. I uh I asked my husband to come to a yoga class with me that I really liked in town. This is a couple
There
years
you
ago.
go.
He's like, oh, how hard can that be? Because I kept talking about it.
Yeah.
Wow, it's really a challenge. He's like, I'm going. I'm going to go with you, and we're going to see how challenging this was. So we're halfway done with the class, and I look over
Yeah.
at him, and the one of the owner
Yeah.
actually came in with a towel and put it under his head because he was dripping sweat all over his mat. And she's like, we don't want you to slip. So she put this towel there, and I thought, oh gosh, he'll never be back. And sure enough, we got done, and he's like, okay, that was hard, and I don't know if I like it. And I said, but you did it, and we did it
Try
together,
it.
and we
And
laughed,
now when
and
you
we
talk
laughed
about
at
what
it.
you do, he knows. He has a little bit
Oh,
more
right.
insight.
Yeah. I try to get him back. I'm like, there are easier classes. You don't have to go. No, I think I'm good. But he tried it, and we have a lot of laughs just thinking about it now.
Yeah.
So,
Memory.
yeah, it
It's
is a good
fun.
memory.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think that sometimes there can even be guilt around doing things just for enjoyment. Like you should be doing something different. But if that's something that I think our listeners struggle with, I think it's something to like let go of. And how do you
Yeah.
do that? Like when it comes to mind, like ask yourself, like, okay, I feel guilty, but why do you feel guilty? Is
Right.
it because you feel like there's pressure, or do you think someone's going to judge you?
Right.
Because you have to do what works for you. And it's a good thing to have some fun. I mean,
It is.
fun bonds, whether it's with your husband, with your
Yeah.
girlfriends, with your kids or your grandkids,
Yeah.
it's important to play.
And I really have to hit on that a little bit. I sometimes have guilt because I really loved to paint and
Hmm.
do different creative
Yeah.
things. And I find like myself trying to pressure myself to go be creative, and that doesn't work because and if you're a creative person and you're trying to force yourself back into being creative when you haven't done a lot, it doesn't work. I mean, creative people cannot just up and be creative. You might have to be guided by your just the way that you are and by that creative nature. And so I sometimes feel that guilt, and I
Hmm.
don't like that to feel guilty that I'm not painting or being creative.
Yeah.
And so I understand that. And with our readers, you do have to let go of that. If you were a painter one time in your life and people refer to you as, oh, she's a great painter, or oh, you should see her watercolors, and you're not doing that now, and things have changed for you, that's okay. That's all right. Let it go. Let it go. Find something else that you enjoy.
Absolutely. And I think too, the creativeness is, even if you just start trying for a little bit, because if you are a creative person, I think if you don't do anything creative, you can feel drained. And that's the reason sometimes you feel drained,
Right.
because
I do agree with that too.
sorry, you don't give yourself permission
Hmm.
to play. And I learned that the hard way too, because I love to write. I'm a writer, and things were busy and I wasn't doing any writing, and I was just feeling like, I told Andy, I'm like, I'm just not feeling right. Like
Because
something feels off.
you weren't
And
doing
I'm
it
like, you know
right.
what? I'm going to take 2 hours this morning. I'm just going to journal. And like
Yeah.
after that, I just felt
Like that
so much
blockage
better.
was
Yes.
gone.
And I don't even know what I wrote, honestly,
Yeah.
but I just sat there with a cup of coffee, listened to the birds, and I just let myself like release. And I
Right.
thought, you know what? I need to make sure that I'm intentional to do this all the time, because that's a way for me to just like let things flow and just,
Right.
release things. And so when we don't allow ourselves to do something creative, or if that's what our nature, I think it can affect us.
Oh yeah, there's definitely blockages, that occur when you're kind of not allowing yourself
Hmm.
to be creative or have that outlet. I think that you do get blockages, and you may not even understand why that's happening.
Yeah.
You may
Until
think
after you
there's
do it.
something missing,
Yes.
and then you do something creative or fun that you've enjoyed, and you're like, oh, wow, what a change of mind,
Hmm.
what a reframe.
So what do you think about like for people that might be listening, like, you know what, these all sound great, but like nothing's really resonating with me. Like I just don't have fun anymore. Because I do hear that from some women. Like, I just don't have fun. I don't know how to have fun.
Okay, first thing
And
I would say
yeah.
is create your own fun.
Hmm.
If you enjoyed, having talks with your friends, or you enjoy a coffee, invite your friends over. Okay, make that fun for yourself. The only one responsible for it is you. If you're saying you're not fun anymore, make your fun.
Hmm.
You know, be fun. You know that you're a fun person at heart,
Hmm.
and bring that back to yourself, because it is easy as we age to not want to invite some friends over for coffee because maybe your house isn't cleaned or whatever. Let's get away from that. Let's let go of that and think about the relationships instead. And I think that when you do that, I think it'll be a lot
Yeah.
easier to invite that playfulness back and have some fun. And a lot of times when you do things sporadically like that,
Hmm.
and not planned,
Yeah.
when it's just at the spur of the moment, like, hey, you guys want to come over? Some of the best times
Times are
are
that
had
way.
when you do that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes the feeling follows. So like you might be struggling, like I just don't feel like I don't feel like doing anything. And then you do it and you're like, oh my gosh, I loved it. Like sometimes you might not want to, but I just want to encourage you, push yourself a
Push
little
yourself.
bit to do
Exactly.
something and
Yep.
start small then. Have a friend over or go for a walk or text somebody and see if they want to meet at the park. In fact, I had Leah over the other day and I was like, I'm just going to get in front of this. I got some snowmen out. It's March. Okay. So there's some Christmas decorations that are still out and I'm not going to apologize, just so you know. But I'm like, I'm not going to let that stop me from having friends over. And real friends don't care.
No,
They
I didn't
don't
even
care.
see them.
I
I
know.
don't know where they're at.
Well, they're just such a part of my decor now that you don't even want to. But and,
Yeah.
and I
So
think
things like that, we worry too much in our minds about how other people are going to
perceive
perceive us, and we don't need to do that. Yeah.
And I think, even once you start the fun, I think it gets easier because, like, even for me, sometimes, like, I'll be at Target with my girls and music will come on and I'll start to dance a little. They're like, Mom, please. I'm like, I don't care. I like the song. I
Yeah.
haven't heard it for 10 years and I still remember the lyrics. So I'm going to have a little dance in the aisle.
Oh,
And they're
yeah.
like, oh my gosh.
And the
But
best part
who
about middle
cares?
age is that
You don't
is that
care.
we don't
Yeah.
have that hold back thing anymore. We're
Oh.
like, who cares? I don't care.
And if someone wants to judge me for celebrating the fact that I remember lyrics, I'm okay with that. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, just let yourself have some fun. And I think giving yourself permission to be silly again. And you don't need our permission, but I think talking about this topic, if this resonates with you, think about when's the last time you really laughed or,
Yeah.
when's the last time you had fun? And even thinking about like movies, when's the last time you went to a movie theater? We don't even go to movie theaters that
Yeah,
much
you're
anymore,
right.
streaming.
You're
But
right.
you know what? Middle of the day, if you get a chance to sneak out or at night,
Yeah.
go see a movie. And you can go by yourself too. You can go see a
Yeah.
movie.
You can go see a movie. You can go buy yourself a whole thing of popcorn and eat it all.
Yeah,
Put
bring home
butter on
some.
it or not.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things we can think of. I find that sometimes just turning on the music and dancing,
Yes.
turn on what you
Yes.
like.
Yes.
Nobody's around, and you
Yes.
just dance for a few minutes, and it
Yes.
really gets your heart rate up, and it's kind of fun. And dance out any way you want to. There's no judging when there's nobody else around. Ah. So the artist, the traveler, the dancer, the dreamer, the woman who did things just because they made her smile. So if you're listening today and you realize that fun has quietly disappeared from your life, this is your reminder.
Play is not a luxury, it is your fuel.
Your takeaway today is simple. Ask yourself a question this week. What sounds fun to me right now?
And then do it. Even if it's small, even if it feels silly, even if you feel embarrassed, just play.
Because midlife isn't the end of your joy. It might actually be the beginning of rediscovering yourself.
And there you have it. Another episode of Letting Go Loudly is in the books. We hope that you're leaving feeling restored and remembering that play is not a luxury, it's fuel for your day. If you like this episode and resonated with you, please like, follow, and share. And follow us on Instagram at Letting Go Loudly. We're looking forward to connecting with you, and talking about the topics that matter to you. Till next time, bye.
Bye bye.